George Washington's Farewell Address. Words for every Patriot of Liberty. President George Washington read and published his farewell address in September 1796 AD, with near-perfect prescience about what has actually happened to us today. His farewell address took him several years to compose. I originally did a summary of his full farewell in his exact words with a couple of necessary word substitutions and updated with modern punctuation and formatting. George Washington's trump card. Washington's farewell address, short and sweet in his own words. Medium.com. But maybe even that short but thorough version is too long and not direct enough. So now I take that short version, cut it down to the argument George Washington would have likely made to explain why no patriot of liberty should vote for Donald Trump or others who lie divisively. I do reorder some of his points in this direct accusation. I am certain he would have wanted this done for all patriots of liberty now and tomorrow. Why George Washington wrote it. Your welfare urges me to offer the result of much reflection which appear to me all important. From different quarters, many artifices will be employed to weaken your minds, covertly and insidiously directed. What you must do, you should watch for your preservation with jealous anxiety, indignantly frowning upon the first dawning of every attempt to alienate any portion of our country from the rest. Who are patriots? There will always be reason to distrust the patriotism of those who, in any quarter, may endeavor to weaken the nation's bands. He means bands holding a barrel together. This is a standard analogy in Washington's day. I would argue bands refer to the powers separated by the Constitution and laws and norms GW calls habit developed through its proper administration. The Constitution as law. The constitution of government, the offspring of our own choice, uninfluenced and unawed, adopted upon full investigation and mature deliberation, completely free in its principles, in the distribution of its powers. Uniting security with energy has a just claim to your confidence and your support. The Constitution is sacredly obligatory upon all. The very idea of the power and the right of the people to establish government presupposes the duty of every individual to obey the established government. Respect for its authority, compliance with its law, acquiescence in its measures, are duties enjoined by the fundamental maxims of true liberty. Liberty itself will find in such a government, with powers properly distributed and adjusted, its surest guardian. Constitutional crisis, all obstructions to the execution of the laws, all combinations and associations, under whatever plausible character, with the real design to direct, control, counteract, or awe the regular deliberation and action of the constituted authorities, are destructive of this fundamental principle and of fatal tendency. Obstructions serve to organize faction, to give it an artificial and extraordinary force. This puts, in the place of the delegated will of the nation, the will of a party, often a small but artful and enterprising minority of the community, and, according to the alternate triumphs of different parties, to make the public administration the ill-concerted and incongruous projects of faction. Political parties, the domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, natural to party dissension, which in different ages and countries has perpetrated the most horrid enormities, is itself a frightful despotism, trumps high crimes and misdemeanors. This leads to a more formal and permanent despotism. The disorders and miseries which result gradually incline the minds of men to seek security and repose in the absolute power of an individual. Sooner or later, the chief of some prevailing faction, more able or more fortunate than his competitors, turns this disposition to the purposes of his own elevation on the ruins of public liberty. Foreign affairs. As avenues to foreign influence in innumerable ways, attachments are particularly alarming to the truly enlightened and independent patriot. The nation, prompted by ill will and resentment, sometimes impels to war the government, contrary to the best calculations of policy. The peace often, the liberty of nations has been the victim. Observe good faith and justice towards all nations. Cultivate peace and harmony with all. Harmony, liberal intercourse with all nations, are recommended by policy, humanity, and interest. Other minor points. It is essential that public opinion should be enlightened. Cherish public credit. Use it as sparingly as possible. There must be taxes. No taxes can be devised which are not more or less inconvenient and unpleasant. Religion and morality are indispensable supports. Avoid the necessity of overgrown military establishments, which, under any form of government, are inauspicious to liberty. George Washington's vision of our future. I anticipate without alloy the sweet enjoyment of partaking, in the midst of my fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government. You can easily check me yourself in the full text of Washington's farewell on the internet. I always welcome civil dialogue if you think I twisted what President Washington said into lies and deceit.